Hello, welcome to Lil's Vintage World. This video is a book review of Secret Lives by E.F. Benson. So this book is from 1932, and it is about a group of people that live in a square of houses. So essentially, you know, the types, you get these a lot in London, where you get a square of houses that share a communal space, like a communal garden that is locked and things like that. And most of these houses are owned by a woman called Miss Mantrip, whose father was a vicar. And he, when he bought his house there, he started to buy others in the square in order to control who was going to live there, essentially, because if you're owning the building, they've obviously got to rent it from you and lease it from you. And then when he passed away, the estate passed to his daughter, and she has kind of continued it. So she is quite fussy about who comes to live here and controlling the area as well. So there's lots of disputes that happen with the neighbours in regards to noise and walking the dogs in the garden, and typical neighbourly things that you could probably expect to happen when you live in an area that has shared space, essentially. And what this book is about these neighbours in this square, the disputes that happen, especially when a new neighbour comes in. Because this new neighbour has a lot of secrets, but Miss Mantrip herself, she's one of these people that she kind of reminds me a little bit like Hyacinth Bouquet on the outside, but inside what she wants to do really is to sit and read kind of trashy novels. Not that I think any novel is actually trashy, but ones that she would probably consider to be too lowbrow for her really to be reading. And this new person who comes in to the house, to the housing, who goes into number 25, Miss Legg. As I said, she has lots of secrets, and she really shakes up the dynamic of the group. And it is essentially about these people that live in this square, and it's very funny. And it's just what I wanted from an E.F. Benson. So I picked this up because I had an E.F. Benson itch that needed to be scratched, essentially. And I was going to do what I do most of the time when I fancy to scratch my E.F. Benson itch, which is I turn to the Map and Lucia series, which are some of my favourite books of all time. Like, if I was to do a favourite books video, the Map and Lucia series would be on there. I think they're absolutely hilarious. I think there's lots of layers of E.F. Benson's humour, and I think the Map and Lucia series was just a wonderful way to really show his humour and the wonderful characters that he does, and again he displays these wonderful characters in here. They're so vivid, and I had this kind of itch that needed to scratch, and then I was like, no, let's read something else by E.F. Benson, because E.F. Benson wrote a lot. He wrote a lot of comedy, satire, these types of things. Then he also wrote ghost stories. The ghost stories are definitely not my bag. I'm not a ghost story person, but humour, satire, comedy, yes, please. And so I had a couple on my shelves already, but then I was looking more into it, and late one night for, you know, a few pound, I picked up this. And I'm so glad I did, because I did really, really enjoy it. Is it as good for me as the Map and Lucia books? No. But will I read it again? Yes, absolutely. I feel like E.F. Benson's writing is kind of, the way to describe it is kind of like an onion. There's layers to it, and I think that's present from what I can see in this one and the Map and Lucia series in his books, in kind of all of his comedy books, because there's very obvious kind of humour, which is kind of like a physical comedy, which my mum always calls like silly humour or daft humour that you expect to find in like Mr. Bean, or you know, Only Fools and Horses, when he falls through the bar, or the chandelier dropping down, things like that. You know, Open All Hours with the till, physical silly humour that's, you know, very evident to the eye. And there's that type of humour. Then there's like the sarcastic humour, and there's just layers and layers and layers and layers. And in one sentence there can be several layers of humour to E.F. Benson. I think it's really, really clever, and I think whatever mood you're in, you can pick up one of his books and feel completely satisfied by it. And yes, layers, onions. And I'm so glad that I read it. I'll definitely read it again in the future. And I will also read some more books by him that aren't just the Map and Lucia series. I mean, I do still want to pick up the Map and Lucia series because it has been a little while, so I'll definitely pick it up again. But yeah, it's really good, and I don't feel like E.F. Benson gets enough praise as is, but I do feel like if people pick up E.F. Benson, they do pick up Map and Lucia. Fair dues. It is brilliant, well worth the read. But I do feel like I should, wave a little flag and say there's other books by this author. And yes, this I thought was really good. And yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. And as I said, I'll pick it up again, have more laughs with it. Yeah, it was good. So there we have it. That is my review of Secret Lies by E.F. Benson. I would like to know in the comments what books, if any, by E.F. Benson you have read. Or were you like me and you've only just read the Map and Lucia series? My bad. Although I've read something else now. As I said, I've still got a few more. I think I've got 3 more on my shelves which aren't the Map and Lucia series, so I will go ahead and read those. But yes, let me know please in the comment section so I don't feel so bad. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Take care, and I shall see you soon for the next one. Bye for now.